You're doing a sewing workshop with your great jacket?
Motorcycling is like sailing.
This is it. The adventure is really underway. Christoph ties back the jacket he tore the day before, and Kevin serves us tea. And all this under a Berber tent. What's in store for us today? We don't know yet. But it will be, I suppose, full of surprises.
Hi, I'm Tom. I'm an instructor in just about everything that rolls, and my goal is to try to get you where you think you can't go.
Make me work, make me sweat inside, make me feel like I'm alive. Take this hurt, lady, throw it in my face. Don't let these bones slow you down.
Thanks to all the tippers who financially support this channel, and to my partners. We can only go so far together, so if you want to help us, don't forget to subscribe. Now that all that's out of the way, here we go.
Departure from J2 Internet. We're currently in the small village of Tendrara. And we're getting closer and closer to the Algerian border. And on the maps, we should have our first erg, i.e. a sandy area with small dunes. And so in the morning, we attack the track. I think this is it. Yeah, it's the right track.
It's always surprising the first time to have to choose a direction in an area devoid of any relief or obstacles. For the rest of the day, we're on fast tracks. The first advantage is that we're making good progress in terms of kilometers. The second advantage, it's going to be easy to work on things we hadn't been able to do before, especially in Albania. Namely, the pace of progress.
Unlike yesterday, when it was straight ahead, this is technical because there are bends. Now that's a hint. Normally you're a blocked speed merchant.
Oh yes, internet, I didn't tell you. I'm slowly getting into travel photography, so I hope you'll bear with me as a beginner. But I'm going to share with you a few frozen moments from our adventure.
So we've just taken a short break to give some new exercises, since the track isn't technical, so it opens up the possibility of working on rhythm. Yesterday, the basic speed I'd asked them for as a minimum to ride on this type of track was 50. It was hard at first, but they got the hang of it in the end. So today the aim is going to be to ride on these round parts at 70. As soon as there's a bit of technique, we go back down, which is great. Right now we're at 60, he should be at 70.
Don't be fooled by the internet. These itinerant training courses are in no way intended to train rally drivers. I'm telling you this because I can already hear you. Well, I can already hear those who are going to say that there's absolutely no point in driving fast on the road. And yes, on the one hand that's true. But when we work on rhythm here, it's not to go fast, but rather to work, as they say on the driving test, on the normal pace of evolution. My aim on tracks like this, where there's no difficulty, is to enable them to travel at a speed equivalent to that of asphalt. Firstly, because for our bikes, whether we're on asphalt or this type of surface, it doesn't make much difference. And secondly, because we need to keep moving on the rolling road. The idea is to gain as much time as possible, so we can redistribute that time in the technical sections. But just because it's not technical, doesn't mean you have to slack off on the internet. Hashtag homeostasis of risk.
So it's always tricky to decide whether or not to deflate in a strip of sand like this. That's why it's a good idea. To be able to train at normal pressure and to be able to get through a difficult sand zone like that at normal pressure. Because there was very little time to deflate. Now we're back on a track like this. On a track like this, you absolutely have to reinflate. So it's really rewarding to have to do that.
Once we'd worked out the rhythm, we arrived on our first real sand track. That.
They're doing really well. It's incredible.
It's time for them to really put into practice everything we saw yesterday, because now, real life begins. let's not kid ourselves.
I expected it to be hard for them. Very hard, if I'm honest.
What's more, Christophe and Valentine aren't very tall. Which, as I often say, isn't going to make their task any easier. But with a lot of willpower, they're living proof. Absolutely anything is possible.
Are you okay? I'm fine. You're doing great. What's wrong next? In your opinion?
A gas problem. Once it's going, once it's rolling, I cut the throttle too hard so as not to pick up too much speed. I have the
Is that,
impression
but it's not the only thing.
too reticent on the
No,
handlebars.
it's just that you're very flexible and you let it live a lot, which is great. But that's where the problem lies.
I wouldn't know.
It's that as soon as it moves a lot, it shows. And you let it live, but you're sitting down. You'd have to do exactly the same body work, but standing up to compensate for the bike's balance. 2, 3 more, come on. Then come and see. There, that's what you just said, Kevin. In fact, as this is the main track to go through, he goes through in a 4-wheel drive, which makes ruts. How do you deal with ruts in the sand? She's the one making a mess. I go through it. The idea is to put yourself at the bottom, on the back, and let the front go boom, 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 bouncing off the edges. Just don't hold it, because if you do, you'll come out. Okay? So really, let the front bounce. As for the body, it's there to be very, very mobile, upright, to compensate for the overall balance of the whole. If you lose your balance and you feel you're going to get out of a rut, it's possible. But how do you get out of a sand rut?
Get into it.
Cut the gas.
No, on the contrary. You put on the gas and you're violent on the way out. In fact, what's scary is thinking, I'm going to get out of this rut, I'm going to slip. So you go slowly. If you take it easy, you're going to smash your face in and you'll never get out. So it's really, if I see it's not going well, I just hit the gas and get out. And really, I just go for it. If you come across a rut, you have to go straight for it. How fast were you going?
5. Non,
2. Now, if you want to be in control, 2 is too much. Ride in first gear instead. First gear, with all that throttle management. If you feel the bike sinking, you accelerate. If you feel the bike lifting off the ground, you give up. You're always weighing up the 2, but it's more like first gear to get a overall pace. Weaker, but keep the same energy.
This first real sand track will have the merit of really putting them all in the distance. And yes, it's hard, as I expected. But to my surprise, they're progressing much faster than I expected.
It's amazing. It's so packed. It's almost like bitumen. It's sumptuous, it's marvelous, it's magnificent. And Morocco still manages to surprise me. The phrase that comes to mind is that it's similar scenery to what I know in Morocco, but different. I think that sums it up.
The miles go by, but so does the day. At this point, we've only got 3 hours of sun left.
Don't know if you remember, in the Morocco video, when I was freezing, I treated myself to a very nice hotel in Airfood. We're heading for Airfood. So if we manage to cover those 100+ kilometers as the crow flies, within 3 hours, they're entitled to a superb hotel and spa, the Desert Palace in Erfoud. Or else, we bivouac in this marvelous setting. And it's magnificent. After that, it's a bit of a big data desert. These formations It rolls well, it follows behind.
It's really beautiful.
It's magnificent, isn't it?
The part where it turned. Oh la la. I don't care, I was at 30.
Stay really well on the track.
We're going to be extremely close to the Algerian border at some point.
So no one's going to end up in prison in Algeria.
When you hear gunfire, go right.
That's right. We're very close to the Algerian border. And the track we were supposed to take is on that high plateau over there, except there's a mapping error. And we can't get onto the high plateau because the track actually runs into a house. And they tell us there's no trail after that. You can see that we're blocked by this mountain range. Now we're on an unmapped track. We're navigating by sight. The track passes over the plateau here. And it's a real mess. I don't know which one. We'll follow that one and navigate off track. Well, now we're completely lost, and you find bits of track like that that don't exist on any map.
By now, fatigue has set in. We're completely off the grid, which means that we're going to have trouble making progress. Because yes, even if it looks like it's completely flat in front of us, in reality, that's not exactly the case.
Already the good news is that even if it's not mapped, there's a trail out there, and it exists. Well, internet, the trail doesn't exist. From there to there, off-piste. Well, good luck. You see how you can't see the relief? From over there, you think it's all flat. Did you see the number? Well, internet, we're tanked, no wonder. We're off-piste, it's technical. So, a little too technical here for the general level of the group. As a result, we're moving a little too slowly. There's really too much distance to cover like this, so they're burnt out. There seems to be a little oasis over there. It doesn't look far at first glance, but it's a bit far. So we're going to head for the oasis to bivouac tonight. We'll have to pass the bikes here slowly. And then we'll bivouac and improvise on the rest of the program at the bivouac. Nice and easy. Come on now, you just sit there. Keep your feet on the ground and take it easy. Try not to stop. Easy, easy, easy. It's gonna be good, it's gonna be good, it's gonna be good. 3, 3. Okay, let's get on it.
As is so often the case, it was a busy day. Sumptuous scenery with fast rolling tracks, followed by sandy tracks and an off-piste finish. Off-piste, lost in the middle of the Moroccan desert, a stone's throw. The Algerian border.
We're no longer going to Erfoud. No. We're going straight to Mersouga. Tomorrow morning we'll have to be careful with our water reserves. I don't despair that we'll find a well on the pass where we've already come across 2 or 3 upstream.
We'll have our first bivouac in this magical place. which reminds us once again that the most beautiful places on our planet, well, as I often say, they have to be earned through the internet. See you there.